how can you build your website thinking of the viewers itself, right? To put yourself in their shoes on like, okay, what should they see first? How can they navigate that in the easiest way? Storytelling is a big part, so it's really important. All of the brands understand the power of storytelling and the perception of the brand that will create.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the Moments That Matter podcast. I'm your host, Jason Crepero, and in each episode, we do a deep dive into the pivotal moments that have shaped today's leaders. I've got an exciting one for you today. We have Thibaut Selderslag from For Digital Sakes. Thibaut, how are you today?
I'm very good, thank you. And thank you for having me in your podcast. Very excited.
My pleasure. For those who don't know you, I know we're going to get into a lot of the work that you do, but can you give a little brief background on you and the work you do?
Yes. So I'm Thibaut, the co-founder of For Digital Sakes. So we run a marketing agency specialized in hospitality, focusing on the full funnel and user journey. So we do production, brand identity, positioning, and all based on having strategy and intent on every piece that we create for the hotels.
Yeah, and how did you get into hospitality to begin with?
Actually, it's been a few years. So I used to be a photographer back in the day. So starting out, I lived in Bali where there were a lot of creators there. So I started to do some photography, that turned into video. So I worked as a freelance. And then it is like freelance work started to be more serious, like building an agency with my co-founder, Harley Phillips. And now we are like running a team and focusing on like bigger campaign, bigger production. That is like For Digital Sakes today.
So that's interesting. I'm putting it together now after being on your website, looking at some of the work that you do. So some people who own agencies for hospitality, they worked in a hotel or they were the marketer at a hotel, but you came at it from the photographer standpoint first.
Yeah, exactly. So it's at the beginning, it was not only hospitality, and then at some points, like I don't know if you say that in English, picked on like the passion and like understanding. And it was more than just like being creative. It was also like understanding the hospitality itself, the industry, the business side of it. And so I started like digging more and more onto that and like being more strategic around it. And my co-founder comes from a FMCG background. So she got a lot of marketing insight and like how to run campaigns. So we really like fit together on building that agency, like only on focus on travel and hospitality.
Yeah, it actually shows on the website. So for those of you who haven't been there, the website is fordigitalsakes.com. And we look at a ton of websites at Hovr, where, whether it's agencies or partners or the actual hotel websites themselves, this website is stunning. You can tell that you yourself, the branding just exudes luxury. I love how it's obviously high quality video, but it's been slowed down as well. And then also all of the animations that happen are slow and subtle, just giving off a really good user experience. It's rare that we go onto a website and we're like, wow, this is pretty incredible. So kudos to you and the team.
Highly appreciate that. Thank you so much. Really means a lot. We put a lot of work on the website. So our designer will be really glad to hear that. I'll pass the word.
Yeah, very, very understated. I love it. So taking it back, are you originally from Brussels?
Yeah, exactly. Brussels in Belgium. My mother's Italian and my father's from Belgium, but I grew up in Brussels.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
Are you still living there now?
No, so now I live most of the time in Barcelona in Spain, but I spend a lot of time in London and Dubai, where like most of our clients are. So to drive business is a bit better to be there, but for the quality of life, I like to come back to Spain for sometimes. Yeah.
Nice.
Huh.
Being from Brussels, have you ever been to Leuven, the factory there, the Stella factory?
Yeah. Have you been there?
Yeah. Well, did you do the tour?
No, actually, I didn't do the tour,
Wow.
but I've seen. Yeah, I know it pretty well.
So I have
Have-
been there. We vacationed, my wife and I, maybe 12 years ago, all around. We went
Okay.
to Paris, Brussels, a bunch of different spots. But when we were in Brussels, I'm like, wow, Stella was my favorite beer at the time, and so I was like, we're so close. So we took the train. It must have only been 20 or 30 minutes from Brussels to Leuven, but we didn't realize you needed tickets to advance tickets on the internet to be able to go and do the tour. So we show up at the gate and they're like, "Oh, I'm really sorry. The last tour just left 5 minutes ago and you can't buy them here. You have to buy them in advance." And so we ended up not being able to do the tour. We went across the street and had a Stella sitting at a bar looking at the factory, but never actually got to go into the factory.
That's crazy. Okay. But it's funny, because Stella is actually so famous outside of Belgium. And in Belgium, it's not the beer we drink the most.
Mm.
So it's like this marketing that's really well done. Like in the US, you guys have a lot of Stella, right? In the US?
Oh yeah, everywhere.
Yeah. So it's like, it's gonna be like
It
the
is
Belgian
marketing.
beer, right? Sorry?
No, I agree. It is the marketing, right? Because it comes with its own chalice, its own glass. If you get it out at
Yeah,
a restaurant, and there's something about the marketing that kind of make it more prestigious. But
exactly.
what is the actual go-to beer that you drink in Brussels?
In Brussels, there would be like the Jupiler is a very famous one, but I don't think you would have heard it,
No,
right? Yeah.
it's just local to Belgium.
And I think now it's really quite a lot in France too, because it's next to it, but it's not really well marketed outside of it. Like I never find it. And also like the special beers, like the bit higher degrees in alcohol that are like much more like very well, like much drunk in Belgium, but you don't find that outside either. So they're like being brewed in um, by the monks and stuff
Yeah.
and
Oh yeah.
sure, yeah, do you know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
So yeah, but it's interesting. And the Stella would be like it's casual pills, and that's interesting that you say that. For you it's like a bit of a prestige because it's a Belgian beer in the US, while for us would be like the one you can drink like quickly, just because you're thirsty.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny. Yeah. Positioning is everything.
It is.
So, with the work you do for Digital Sakes, it I look through some of the different engagements that you all have, some of the clients. What are you seeing out there right now when people come to you? I know that you're at the intersection of storytelling, very video heavy, video focused, video first. Are people looking? Do you find they're looking for you and they're looking for the storytelling in video, or are they looking to redo their website or marketing, and then you are telling them you need video and you need storytelling?
Yeah, a bit of both. So what we try to do at For Digital Sex is, so storytelling is a big part. So it's really important. All of the brands understand the power of storytelling and the perception of the brand that will create. So we would create brands video for this kind of request. But there's also what's really important to understand is, depending on the stage of the funnel you are, you have to change a piece of content you have to create. So if you're at the awareness, yeah, a brand video is great so that you share feelings, your perception. But when it comes to, for example, the conversion part of the funnel where you want to convince the person you need to book this room, or then we have a proposition which is video room tour, which is gonna show exactly what you're gonna get in the room, and it's no fluff. It's just, okay, if you book that, you're gonna get this room, and you see the video of the room itself. And because we see a lot a lot of users that are trying to hop from platform to understand exactly what they will get. So they will go on Booking, then Instagram, and basically the goal of a hotel is actually to keep the user on their website so that they drive the direct booking. So this is something we do, and there is always a bit of a educating piece for some, but some people understand like how important is video, and so they will tell us like, okay, in our website, how can we do it, and like how can we place it, and what kind of video should be in which pages. That happens too.
Yeah. Do you find that there's a certain type of customer that gravitates towards your service?
Well, yes. So we're not gonna try to convince. It needs to be a digital mature kind of client. Was that your question?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we will notice a pattern on if the hotels are not active yet on social media, don't have much video production. The intuition will be how there is a great opportunity, but you realize that actually we won't be working with them because they don't believe in how important it is, or it's been working like this so far, so they won't really change. While the people who are already investing heavily in video production and strategy, you can tell it, and you would think, yeah, but you're already covered. And actually, those clients are the one who always want to expand with more creativity, more tools, and so yeah, there is definitely a pattern.
Yeah, I see that. I see that too in our work. How would you define video mature? You said it, they're more video mature.
Yeah, I would say more digitally matured.
Okay.
So to be digitally mature, if that makes sense, as like
yeah. Well, no, I think I want to define it from your perspective for the audience.
It's understanding how people consume and look the path to purchase today. It's really embedded in social media and video, and what's happening in social media, it's heavily in videos. So people scroll, it's reels, it's TikTok, Instagram reels, it's YouTube. So there is a correlation between the social media world now and the video production, how people consume content. And it's the same, for example, a good example is a lot of websites will have the 360 interactive, the 360, do you know what I mean? Matterport.
Oh, yeah.
Typically.
Yeah,
there is a play, but actually people don't consume that kind of content. Not everybody wants to scroll around, and so there is a play, but you need video as well. That because people scroll every day on Instagram or TikTok. That's just how it is.
Yeah, we through our players, we allow Matterport visiting media to be displayed through our players too. But we find that the video is much more effective. It's not that it's not that there's not a place for them, but with the room tours, it is work. It is work to make someone understand what this room's going to be like. I've got to kind of paw around and move my cursor and work
exactly
to see everything. And again, it's more of a sterile view. It's more of like letting me as the viewer interpret what I'm seeing on this sterile canvas rather than leading me and telling me a story that I want to see myself in.
Exactly. So the perception is totally different, and it's hard to push on the viewer how they have to consume the content because the attention span is so short. So people just bounce. So you want to grab those 3 first seconds in videos. You want to be the most compelling to be able to catch and hook the viewer.
Yeah, especially if you like, we have a client that has just in the suites. So they have whole room categories, which I think they have 9 different room categories. But then in the suite categories, they have 10 different suite categories. And so with a video passively, which they have a video on each of those 10, passively, I can see 4 to 5 seconds of video without the work. I can just see this. It helps me decide whether or not I want that one. But if you had to kind of paw around to every single room type, it adds to that length of stay in not a good way, where I feel like I've had to work to find out what the place is like.
Yeah, exactly. We had a good example is a client of ours. We were doing a brand film for them, so something completely different. But while we're shooting in a street, in the most expensive street, sales team came in the room and trying with a phone trying to film that room, because one celebrity wanted to stay in the room and wanted to see if it was good enough. And you're like, wait, you're selling the most luxury suite of your hotels, and you're like doing a shaky video on your iPhone. Like, this should be actually taken seriously, and so that you have like a video ready to send to that person straight away, and like showing the luxurious journey should be like continuous, in my opinion.
So they were just going to text this celebrity the photo or the
Yeah,
videos?
so it was exactly, yeah. So it was to the agent of that celebrity, and that celebrity was not happy with the current room to a competitor hotel. So you're trying to convince that celebrity that's already being picky, and you're like, yeah, doesn't make much sense. So yeah.
What is your typical engagement like for a client? Do you find that you usually start off taking video and then building a website, or is it doing marketing spend with them, ad spend, and then you do the website?
The ideal client would be when we can start with the fundamentals, which is understanding the branding, positioning, like to do the brand identity, and from there to recommend and start the content strategy, build a content strategy, and then doing the adequate production on top of it. But depending on where we start a conversation, because when we work with big brands, for example, they don't need the branding anymore, right? It's been done and stick to it for a long time. So then it will be more the new campaign, a campaign that they want to create with a hero asset, and then a lot of social ads that they will want to create out of it.
Yeah, that makes a ton of sense. Build the foundation, and then we'll see where we go from there.
This is where you can assure the best result possible, and not being too much add-on content strategy.
And you kind of own it all too. So if you're doing paid spend, or you're building the website, or you're doing storytelling, you know that it's going to fit within a cohesive identity that you built from the ground up, versus taking something that you didn't build and you're kind of inheriting it and saying, all right, we're going to make the most of it. But if we had it over again, we would have just done the entire identity. That makes a ton of sense.
Yeah, exactly. So we can craft everything based on everything that's been agreed before and get the best result and consistency of the brand. Yeah.
Is there ever a client that just doesn't want video on their site?
So usually the only problem that could occur is if the website are not built in a way to support videos on it. So that can happen, or they know like they can place a couple, but if it's gonna like lag or slow down too much the website, depending on how it was built. But usually we've had like most of the time they are quite if they're talking to us, they're quite responsive to it.
Yeah. How much of a factor is that for the folks that you're talking with? How are you able to add so much video without slowing down the site? That's a main concern. We actually host them separately on our own servers and deliver them ultra low latency, so it doesn't impact. But I know that a lot of people have been apprehensive because they think it's going to slow down their website always.
Yeah. To be honest, I'm not the technical part for this, so I couldn't tell you exactly how. But I know one option is to hold them separately on another one, or I don't know exactly how it's built, to be honest. I'm not the right person to answer that.
Yeah, no worries. It's but it is, I mean, it's the number one question we get always. is, is this going to slow down my website? Because obviously no one wants to impact the site, but you also need video. And so to be able to accomplish that where you don't impact it, but then they do get the high quality assets that help convert seems very important.
Yeah, 100%. But
when you are out there on site taking the video, what's that process like from your standpoint? Are you still involved in the video production itself?
less and less.
Okay.
So now we usually send team on production, but like I'm aware of the full process. So basically what we're gonna do is we're gonna have pre-production where we're gonna build a mood boards, storyboards. We're gonna create a schedule based on everything that's going to happen, and we want to highlight, book the model. So we will do the whole heavy lifting to make sure that everything runs smoothly, and then we will have someone designated on site that will help us to coordinate everything while there. Then the production happens, can go from one day to a week or two, and then the post-production happen, and then we can deliver depending on how many assets, like weeks or months later.
Fantastic. Yeah, fantastic. That's pretty in depth. That's amazing. And the results speak for themselves. I would urge anyone to go for Digital Sakes and just check it out. Do you also have, I haven't seen it, but do you also have case studies on the site as well?
Yeah, there's a page with case study on the website. Fantastic. Where we can see work with Belmont, Bulgari, the World 50 Best, Rosewood. So some nice.
Yeah, it seems like you've kind of created a niche for yourself in the ultra high-end luxury hospitality space. Why do you think that's been the case?
I think it's really to come back to what we were saying and finding a digital mature client. I think it's naturally went for ultra luxury, where they understand they invest in the content much heavier and much more than 4-star or 3 stars, because also they can allow the reason is they can allow themselves to afford it, because one room is gonna cost one suite in some of the ultra lux can literally pay off everything. So they see a direct impact. And even within the brand, like you see within Marriott's brands, the luxury brands will have so much more budgets than the more scale, like premium brands, a bit cheaper brands. And in that environment, you understand how like budgets work and how content work as well.
Yeah. So just backing up before you started the agency, take me through the moments that were leading up to this. What made you and your co-founder decide to become entrepreneurs, go out on your own and start this agency? Did you already have one client that you said, we can do this? Was this something you talked about for a while? What made you just go ahead and do it?
Well, so I started as a photographer, as I said before, and then leaning into video. And with hotels specifically, to be totally transparent, it started first with the collaboration. So I was traveling and I was like, hey, I could actually ask for a collab. I could give them a video or a few photos, and like in exchange of a night or two. And from that, I understood how much I enjoyed it and how much I saw the potential in it, and started to build a portfolio. And then we partner up with my partner with very different skills, and we started to transfer that from collaboration to paid partnership, and to then like leading to the way it is now.
Wow. And how many years ago did you start the agency?
A bit less than 4 years ago.
Wow. 4 years ago, started the agency and have worked with some of the top brands in the world, ultra luxury. That's fantastic.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I was a little bit in my mind, I was a little bit like, if you can get the best name, then everything's gonna be easier instead of like trying to build. Also, it's like, okay, if you get that one on your portfolio, you get a credibility for so many others. And I think that was like kind of the strategy also at the beginning.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, a lot of people will never take that risk, right? And in terms of starting their own agency, do you feel like you were sort of born to be an entrepreneur, that you liked being independent more than working for someone else?
Yeah, I always knew that, I couldn't work for anyone, to be honest. I I studied university with the idea, it was business university with the idea of being an entrepreneur.
Mhm.
Then like in my last year, I realized that they were just training me and educating me to work for a company. And so I didn't even finish university, and I just started on my own trying to figure it out, struggling for a few years, to be honest.
A lot
But
of entrepreneurs say that it's tough to be on someone else's timeline, on someone else's control, what they want when they want it, to be able to have that
yeah,
freedom and autonomy. It's
100%. I think it's personality, and it's really really fine for some people, and for some others, you just know that it's not for you, and I wouldn't be good at it either. So if it's for being, and I think entrepreneurs tend to work more in terms of hours. You don't do that to work less, let's say, because it never really stops. You could always do more, but being free new ideas and how you want to create it, it's priceless in my opinion.
Yeah, there's a saying. I don't know the top line hours, but it's like entrepreneurs are the only people that'll work 70 hours a week to stop themselves for working 40 hours for somebody else. And
Yeah,
it's totally true, and it doesn't feel like work either. That's the main thing. I never ever in my day feel like I'm working.
no,
It's fun. We're collaborating. We're solving problems. We're inventing. We're innovation with what we're doing. We're constantly looking at the web as a canvas. How can we poke it? How can we peel it? How can we push it and change
it's
it?
a playground. Yeah,
It really is, because we didn't build the web. And so it exists in its current form, something that we would not have chosen. We make people scroll up and down. We make them navigate to menus to try to search and hunt for answers. It's a very active engagement that we ask them to do. That's why I mentioned even those 3D tours of all of the work we're asking people to do. They don't come in to our websites and then it's all laid out for them. It's a passive experience. They just hit play, and then the world opens up, and we communicate our best to them, which is where we want to head.
yeah,
Instead, we make them kind of navigate around. Think, oh, hey, you know what? You were looking for rooms. It's not there. You got to go back.
yeah,
And then you've got to navigate over here. And so they're hunting, and each person that visits a website also came loaded with very unique questions, and they want those questions answered. And so when you make them hunt for them, it can be a frustrating experience.
that's very true. And it's also how can you build your websites thinking of the viewers itself, right? To put yourself in their shoes on like, okay, what should they see first? How can they navigate that in the easiest way? Yeah, 100%. How long have you had your business for?
Just over 2.5 years.
Oh, nice. And before?
What's that?
And before that?
Two different companies. One was a mobile app focused on events, so it was networking and events in the digital space. So after COVID, we're doing kind of virtual events.
Okay.
The world stopped. Before that, it was a mobile app. So
Okay.
mobile app started first, and then after COVID, we pivoted into virtual events, and very similar. That's why I was able to pick up on why your content looks so beautiful, why your agency is video led. It's because you were a videographer, you're a photographer. When we approached the web the first time, it was coming off of, we had a networking app and an event app, and it was the number one rated on iOS and Android. COVID happened, so we pivoted into virtual, but instead of focusing heavily on the actual meetings, we focused on the relationships. And so it was more of like a networking platform. And so when we thought of going into web, the original idea was actually that the premise was that browsing the internet was something that you always did in isolation. So you're always on the internet by yourself, right?
Yeah.
But the reality is, if you're on Marriott International, if you're on a Marriott website, you there might be 75,000 other people on that exact same site at the exact same time. And so we believed if we could expose the front end of the web traffic and make it more collaborative so that you could exchange ideas and information and advice with people that were actually browsing. And so that was the original idea from going from virtual tours, relationships to the web. And then it ended up being less about being able to share with people or forums on your own site to delivering content. Because as we talk to customers, they were like, yeah, it's great that they can talk to each other, but we have content that we want to deliver to them. Like when they're asking questions, we want to do it. So and then it really just became a case of, okay, if you have all this content and you want to deliver it, then Hovr's value is to create interesting ways to deliver that content that really have never been done before. So that's where things like transforming text. So if you mention 180-degree panoramic views of the Pacific Ocean, we thought, well, why don't you be able to hover over that phrase and see the view of that, see actually a video of exactly that. So a lot of our innovation comes from looking at innovative ways to get people to watch videos that already exist.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Very interesting.
Yeah, but we approached it totally differently. If we had come at this problem from any other angle, the solution would have been different.
Yeah, that's always what's interesting is the pivoting that life makes you do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Depending on the angle, exactly.
For you, what is so you're in Europe, you grew up and did university in Brussels. Now you're in Barcelona. What's your average, year look like in terms of traveling? Where are some of the spots that you hit in Europe?
So the average amount of time is more than 6 months of travel. So it's a lot. And it would be mainly the UK, France, Brussels, Dubai, and sometimes Italy. That would be like
That mainly for work?
mainly for work, yeah.
And if you want to unplug, where's the spot for you to go to unplug?
Funnily enough, now it becomes going back to Barcelona and being at home. I have a routine, eating well, going to the gym. It's actually where I feel the best now. Instead of like trying to find another paradisiac place, I prefer to just be like doing like my routine, which you don't get to do when you travel. It gets really tiring, to be honest.
Oh, absolutely. I'm always trying to limit my travel and get home to my bed as fast as possible.
Yeah.
Sometimes unavoidable, but when you have when you're out and work, Dubai, Italy, these places, what's the nicest hotel? And no discredit to all the other ones that you've worked with, but what is the nicest or most impressive hotel that you've had the privilege of filming or visiting?
I think an hotel that holds a very special place in my heart is the Glen Eagles in Scotland.
Oh,
Have you heard of it?
I have not. Glen
You
Eagles in
should.
Scotland?
Yeah.
Look it up now. Look
It's
it up now. Wow.
it's amazing. It's
And why does it hold a special place?
it was it was a few years ago, so I guess it's also like a novelty, and it's old money, England, Scotland. There is like this tradition. You feel like you have traveled in time on how it is, and the level of hospitality and service was different.
Wow. It does look stunning.
It
Very
is really,
massive castle.
If
Were
you
you
have the
there for business
chance,
or pleasure?
if you have, sorry,
Were you there for business or pleasure?
For business, actually. We worked with the World 50 Best to award them. Um, they won the art of hospitality. And so we are creating a full video and like a few days of production there. And yeah, and even like while working it's you always have that analogy, or it's almost you have to sneeze and someone give you a tissue before you ever like had to, you know? So yeah, it's another level. That was very special place. I recommend you to go if you get a chance.
Yeah, I definitely will. I'm looking at it now. It looks stunning. Did you do their website as well? The
No,
videos? No,
no.
no? Okay. Yeah, it's really, really well done. And it looks like there's a lot to do for families, golf, spa and wellness.
Yeah,
Thank you.
exactly.
Thank
You're
you for
welcome.
turning us on to that. Looks like there's even a paddle court as well.
Is it? I think it's tennis. Maybe they've installed a paddle. Paddle has become so popular now.
Oh, absolutely.
It's
I had the
everywhere.
opportunity. What's
Yeah,
that?
it's everywhere. Yeah. What did you have the
Oh,
opportunity?
yeah. So a couple of months ago, I had the opportunity to go to Strive Challenge on Necker Island, Richard Branson's private island, and
Okay.
there was 40 other entrepreneurs. It was outrageous. I mean, so beautiful. The smaller island, but everyone got their own huts and just luxury accommodations. And so Richard has a couple of tennis courts there, as well as pickleball and then paddle. And that paddle court, anytime there was free time, was absolutely swamped. I mean, there was spectators, people rotating in. One guy even he never played before. He learned how to play there on Necker, and then was messaging the group chat on WhatsApp afterward. He's like, "Hey, listen, I'm seriously working with an architect to draw plans to add a paddle court to my house."
Yeah, it's addictive. It's really addictive. It's accessible also. I feel like tennis, it's a bit more technical. If you haven't grown up playing tennis, it's
Right.
hard to catch up. While paddle is everyone can like hit the ball and can be playful and accessible.
Yeah, I found that too. You know, although I was taking some lessons on the island there because he has two pros that are there full time, which was really nice because I didn't grow up playing tennis. But immediately on the pickleball or the paddle courts, you kind of just pick it up faster. And
Yeah,
the ball's also coming at you a lot slower. So I feel like you have
yeah,
some time.
exactly. Yeah.
Do
You
you
don't have
play
to
it there?
anticipate. Yeah, I play. In Barcelona, you have paddle courts by the beach. So when you can start the day first thing in the morning, actually it is Thursday at 8 in the morning, you play and with the sunrise is coming up and you're by the beach. Yeah, that's my vacation. That's the dream life.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us here. The last thing we usually ask people is if you could travel back to a moment in your career and offer advice to your younger self, when and where would that be, and what would you say to yourself?
Um, I would have I would have told myself to not go to university and to learn real skills that you get better every day and that actually useful in the market. And then I would say to be consistent on the skill and especially posting on social media, posting consistently, trying to be every day 1% better.
Mm.
That would be, I think, the best advice because with the valuable skills and then showing up every day with that skills, you cannot fail, I think.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, thank you so much. And if anyone is looking for a new agency or wants to get in touch with you, talk about video, talk about storytelling, how can our listeners get in touch with you?
They can find me on LinkedIn at Thibaut Sellerslag and on the company page for Digital Six on LinkedIn as well. I think it's the easiest way. Or through my website, contact us on my website. I'll see that too. Thank you so
Fantastic.
much, Jason, for everything, for having me.
Thank you. It was a true pleasure. Go check it out, fordigitalsakes.com. And thank you for listening in to another episode of the Moments That Matter podcast. As always, if you'd like to get alerted of new episodes that drop, give us a subscribe. And if you have any questions, comment or like this post. Thanks so much and have a great day.